everybody, my name is Michelle and welcome to this gigantic book haul. So in the past couple of weeks I somehow got a lot of books. I blame the new releases that came out this autumn because there were a lot of them and I just had to get them all. And also it was my birthday in November, so I also received a lot of books, or like a couple of books for my birthday, and then I also just bought some books because I wanted to, basically. I think this is probably going to be the biggest book haul of the entire year. It's also going to be the last book haul of this year because, well, the year is almost over. And also I now have so many unread books that I just need to stop buying books for a little bit. I think I can manage with all the books that I now have, and yeah, it's going to be a big one, this haul, and let's just get started and then I'm going to show you all the books that I got. First, I have a book that I had been looking forward to for a very long time, and that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So this is the second book by Erin Morgenstern that she's ever written. The Night Circus was her first book, and that was of course like a very popular one here on BookTube. A lot of people really loved it, and now she finally has another book out, which makes me so excited, and I splurged and got the Waterstones exclusive edition. This one is so pretty. You've probably seen it around because I have seen it around a lot on BookTube, but it's like so pretty. It has these illustrations on the pages. It's just gorgeous. I don't know anything about the plot of this book, like literally nothing. I just bought it because it's Erin Morgenstern. I believe it is again magical realism. That's basically all I know about it, and I'm so excited to pick it up. I cannot wait to read it. I hope I will love it as much as I did with The Night Circus. Speaking of The Night Circus, I also got the new special edition of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern from Waterstones. This one has like a new sort of cover and it has blue pages. This is one of my all-time favorite books. I believe it's a lot of people's all-time favorite book. It's a magical realism about this sort of circus, and there's also a magical tournament involved, and it's just very beautiful. You really have to read it for yourself, but I really loved it. This is my second copy of The Night Circus, but I just had to get this pretty edition. I have no regrets and it's gorgeous. Another book I was really looking forward to is The Toll by Neil Shusterman, the third and final book in the Sight series. This is a sort of dystopian series where the world is being ruled by the Thunderhead, a sort of AI. The world is also sort of perfect. There's no death, there's no disease, but there are these sights who are allowed to kill people to keep the population under control. This is the final book in the series. I've already read it. It was amazing. I loved it. It was intense. More on that in like my November wrap up, but I was so happy that I finally got it, and whew, it was definitely worth the wait. And then I have The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the third and final book in the Cruel Prince series. Again, a third and final book. There are a lot of book series that are ending this year, I guess. And this book is about a mortal girl named Jude who lives in the world of fairy, and there's this fairy court and there's like intrigue and schemes and there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's YA fantasy. It's not, I think, like the best series ever, but it's just so enjoyable, like cheesy YA. I love it. I'm so excited to read the last book. I haven't read it yet. I've only received it like yesterday or something. Yeah, it's just a book series that I enjoy very much to read if I don't want to think about it too much, I guess. But yeah, another anticipated release of mine that I finally have in my possession. The next up, books I got for my birthday. The first one is My Name is Monster by Katie Hall. I chose this one in a bookshop. I'd never heard of it before, but it sounds interesting. Apparently it's sort of this post-apocalyptic world, and the main character is named Monster. She thinks she's the only one left, but then she finds another girl. It sounds very weird, but it also sounded interesting to me. I also really love the cover. It's so pretty. I do like to pick up a book every once in a while where I just don't know anything about the plot and that I'd never heard of, and that is just so weird to me, and hopefully this can pleasantly surprise me, and yeah, that's why I basically choose it to have for my birthday. Then my next birthday book is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is the first book in a fantasy series, because apparently I don't have enough fantasy series already, but Red Sister is about this convent where girls are being raised to become killers, and then the main character, what's she called? Nona Gray, and you know, I'm sure it's a fantasy series that lots of stuff will happen. As you probably know, I don't want to know much about a plot before I start it, but it is a very popular, or like a very well received fantasy series, and that's why I also got this one. Next up I have Anne Boleyn, A King's Obsession by Alison Ware, part of the 6 Tudor Queens series. Yay, another Anne Boleyn book. If you don't know me, I really love Tudor history, and especially Anne Boleyn. She's like my favorite queen of like the 6 queens. I saw this and at first I thought it was like just a history book, you know, because I know Alison Ware writes history books, but this one is actually sort of written in a fictionalized way, sort of like Philippa Gregory does, but I think these are a little bit more accurate. I was so happy to find it because I love Anne Boleyn and I need more Anne Boleyn books in my life. I have like an entire shelf, or like a small shelf, dedicated to it. And yeah, if I like this one, I also need the other books in this Tudor Queen series, because there's one for every wife of King Henry VIII. I just love Tudor history so much. It always makes me smile, even though horrible things happen during that era, but it's just my favorite piece of history. And then next up, so sweet, I got a book as a present from Vanessa from Moonlight Book Reader. She sent me one for my birthday, and it is Silka's Journey by Heather Morris. This is sort of the sequel, not completely sequel, to the Tattooist of Auschwitz. And Silka is a character from that book, from the Tattooist of Auschwitz, but also a real life person, because it's all based on real life and true stories from Auschwitz. This is her story because the author said that she really was intrigued by her, so she's written a story of her. And yeah, I cannot say like I love Auschwitz stories because that sounds weird, but I really like to read about Auschwitz stories. I cannot wait to learn more about Silka and about her journey and what she's been through. I know a little bit from the first book. I got this as a birthday present. Thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that, but I'm very happy with it. It's very much appreciated. And then these 2 books I bought with a book voucher that I received from my friend Brit from Basically Brit, so thank you. These are also birthday presents, of course, then, because I got that book voucher for my birthday. The first one that I got is Eline by Michelle Visser, so like my namesake. This is a original Dutch book by a Dutch author. I really feel like I don't read those enough. I really should make an effort to read more of them. So this book might not be interesting to most of you because you have to speak Dutch or to read Dutch to understand it, but this is a book about World War I and the Spanish flu, and I don't know much about it, but it sounds like a very intriguing story. And yeah, I just love historical fiction so much, which is probably not a surprise if you watch my videos regularly. So I chose this one because, again, I didn't know anything about it, and I just came across it. And again, I really like to sort of be surprised every once in a while with a book that I don't really know that well. And then the next book I bought with that voucher is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. This is a book that was like very hyped up and like a bestseller a couple of years ago, but I've never read it. But I decided to finally pick it up, and this book is sort of like, I don't think, maybe sort of a self-help book, I don't know, but it's about, life and how you shouldn't care too much about certain things, and how a certain attitude can make you happier. And yeah, I don't know, it's just, it's supposed to be very funny because it's written in this sort of brutal way, an honest, direct way. I don't know much about it, but I'm very much intrigued to see what it's all about. So let's just see what the hype was about, what this book is about. I'm very curious to find out. Next up, I have 3 books in a series that I bought, and that is the 3 books that are currently published in the Bone Season series. So I have The Bone Season, The Mime Order, and The Song Rising. So this is currently what is out of the Bone series, of the Bone Season series. In total there are going to be 7 books, but it's going to take a while before all those books are published. And these books, the first 3 books, I bought because I'm currently participating in the Bone-a-thon Read-a-thon, which is a read-a-thon organized by Ashley from A Frolic True Fiction, where we read like 1 book of this series in the last months of the year. So 1 in October, 1 in November, 1 in December. I've already read the Bone Season and I really enjoyed it, and that's why I bought the other 2 books as well. And I really like participating in this read-a-thon because it's so much fun, and like this is a book series that was on my radar for such a long time, but also I wasn't truly interested in it and I wasn't completely sure about it, but I'm so happy that I gave it the chance. And I don't know, it really put me back in the reading mood and I enjoyed it and I loved how original it was. So for the premise, this is sort of like a sci-fi fantasy dystopian-ish series. It takes place in our world, but in a sort of like a different timeline where some people are clairvoyant, but it's illegal to be clairvoyant. And our main character Paige is clairvoyant, and she's sort of like in the underground crime scene. That's the beginning, but this book series, I don't know, I've only read the first one, takes a lot of twists and turns, and yeah, I just really loved it, and I cannot wait to continue with it. So I'm very happy that Ashley is organizing this read-a-thon, and I need to read the second book very soon. My next book is Nocturna by Maya Motayaine. I cannot pronounce it, I'm so sorry. This is the Dutch edition, and I received this book during like a bookish event a couple of weeks ago, or like a couple of months ago almost. I forgot to include it in my previous book haul, that's why I'm showing it now. I don't know anything about the plot, and usually I'm not the biggest fan of Dutch translations, but I do think this edition is absolutely gorgeous. It's so beautiful, so I don't know, maybe I might give it a chance and read it. I'm not completely sure, but in any case it's beautiful, so that's why I wanted to show it, because, you know, everyone should enjoy such a beautiful cover. And then another book that I forgot to include in my previous haul is the 20th anniversary edition of Harry Potter and the Chamber of... not the Chamber of Secrets, the Prisoner of Azkaban. And this is the Ravenclaw edition. I got this because, of course, I'm collecting the Ravenclaw editions, so eventually I will have a full set of the Harry Potter series in the Ravenclaw colors. I didn't even know this was out yet when I saw it at the bookstore at the end of the summer. But it was a very pleasant surprise. I ordered it straight away after that because I need every single Harry Potter book in my life. And still I'm so tempted to buy all the editions of the 20th anniversaries in all the house colors, but that would just be way too much. But maybe someday, you know, when I have like a bigger bookshelf or I don't know, more money. But yeah, I needed this book in my Harry Potter collection, and I'm very happy with it. And I believe it's not even that long until the edition of the 20th anniversary edition of Goblet of Fire comes out. So yay, I love collecting Harry Potter books. Even though I have so much already, it never ceases to make me happy. Next up I have Scar by Alice Broadway. This is the third and final book in the Ink series, and this book again is so pretty. I need to show it off, all its prettiness, because whew, I love it. This is also a final book in a series. The Ink series is a YA book series about a girl named Leora, and she lives in this world where everything you do and achieve is marked on your skin. And there are these people who have these marks, but there are also people without marks who are called blanks, and you shouldn't trust them because you don't know anything about them without their marks. At least that's what Leora is told. I've read the first two books, they're very enjoyable, just enjoyable YA books basically. I need the final book because it's also not that big, and I need to finish the series, you know, because I really need to finish more series. I start a lot of series, but I never seem to finish them. So that's why I got this one, and yeah, I need to finish it soon. The next book in this haul is The Glacier by Kim Liggett, I don't know. This is a book about, I don't know, it's sort of a YA book. It's not sort of a YA book, it is a YA book. And sort of the idea is that when girls in this world turn 16, they have a year of magic and they are banished during that year to sort of survive, or I don't know, but it's called The Glacier. From what I've heard, it's quite a good YA book, but I've also heard that it's a bit of a ripoff of The Hunger Games. I do love The Hunger Games, so hopefully that means I will enjoy it. I think it's better that I'm mentally prepared that it might be a bit of a ripoff, that it might be a bit, you know, that it borrows some things from The Hunger Games. So I'm going to read this first before I reread The Hunger Games next year, because of course the Hunger Games prequel comes out. So yeah, I don't know, I do love to read just, you know, a YA series every once in a while, and this premise sounds very fun, or like not fun, but interesting. And this is also quite a new release, at least around this year. Yeah, I hope I will love it, and I'm prepared to be reminded of The Hunger Games. Then I also finally bought my very first Stephen King book, and it is Misery. So I've wanted to try out Stephen King for so many years now, because of course he's such a popular author, he's such a well-known author. I did not know where to start, but I did some research and I thought Misery would be a pretty good book to start with, because it's also not too big, you know, not like It or other Stephen King books that are like 1,000 pages long or something. And Misery is about this writer who has a book series, and the main character is called Misery, but then he kills her off in his final book, and then the writer is abducted by a woman who is not agreeing with that. So you know, sort of relatable. Well, not relatable, but I can understand the angry feelings of your favorite character being killed off in a book. Not that I would kidnap an author, but yeah. But it sounds like such an interesting story, like definitely something I would love, and I think this is a good place to start. A lot of people say that this is like one of their favorite Stephen King novels, so again, a book that I want to read soon, but that is of course something that I say with every book, but it sounds like something I would love. Then I have another historical fiction, and it is The Girl in the Letter by Emily Gunnins. This is about a young girl named Ivy, and she becomes pregnant as a teenager in the 1950s. And then there's also a separate timeline in our present day that is probably connected to that past event because yeah, that's mostly the case, otherwise why would you put it in one book? The premise reminded me a bit of, what was it called? The Home for Unwanted Girls that I read earlier this year that I also really loved. I do love tragic stories like this, and I love historical fiction. So this is probably just a book that it would be perfect for me. I have so much historical fiction on my shelves right now. I need to get going with all those books, but it sounds like a beautiful story that is going to make me sad and feel all the emotions, and yeah. And then the final book of this haul, we're finally there. So many books, I don't know. But yeah, finally the final book of this haul is 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. And this is the story of the Trojan War, but told from the female perspective. So it sounds a bit like The Silence of the Girls, which is a book that I bought earlier this year. It sounds a bit the same, but I don't know. I just love Greek mythology and the Trojan War, and it being told from a female perspective is definitely something I will enjoy. I have not read The Silence of the Girls yet, I have not read 1,000 Ships yet, but I'm very curious to see how those books will compare in like writing style and in stories. But yeah, I just really love Greek mythology, so any book that is inspired by it or is a retelling of it is something that I basically need to own because I want to read it. And also again, the cover of this is so pretty. I'm a sucker for pretty book covers. That's also probably a well-known fact. And this one is gorgeous, so yeah, cannot wait to read this as well, and I'm so happy that I got it. So we're finally here at the end of this giant book haul. Whew, that was a lot, but I'm so happy with all the books that I got. Like I think I made quite good choices with buying books. They all sound so amazing and I cannot wait to start them. I'm also in the best reading mood right now, so that's probably also why I'm so enthusiastic about all of these books. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, for this video. And if you like this video, please go subscribe or maybe give it a thumbs up, because as always, I would really appreciate that. Please let me know down in the comments which book I should read first, and which books you love of these like book hauls, or yeah, just let me know. And hopefully I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye!